on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So if you want to share that as well, we can do it on social media. I mean, we can.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay. So we start in 3 minutes, and we are going to be good. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? I know that is people coming to our stream, so that's nice. Please write on the chat. Yes, okay, perfect. Hi, Danielle. How you doing? Don't be afraid, guys. We are here as well. I know this is a online meeting, but we can be all together in like imagine that we are in the same room talking each other. So yeah, I'm meeting Erin, which she's an amazing, amazing person, and she's going to give us the best masterclass for you guys. I mean,
Yes.
I'm going to be here as well. So excited. Hi, Katia.
Where's everybody calling in from? I'm in a ski town in Colorado.
Where are you from, guys? Hi, Erin. Spain.
España.
España. Sí.
In Valencia, right? Algeria? Oh my gosh, all over the world.
Phoenix.
Phoenix?
Okay.
I was just there last week for my women's retreat, Danielle. I love that. I should have to do the presentation like half in English and la mitad en español. So half and half. Uh,
Well, we both speak Spanish, so we can
yeah.
try.
Your English is so good. It's like, just do English.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think. Okay. So everyone can hear us well. Like you can hear on time. It's not lagging. Anything is on our videos. Everything is okay. Yeah.
I think I saw a thumbs up.
Okay. Yep. All good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we can start the master class. I okay. Now I see people is coming to the Saratoga. Hi, Saratoga. You're from New York. Can you see the chat as well, Erin?
Wait, is that it's not Sheila, is it? In Saratoga Springs, New York. Who's that? I have a
Uh,
I have a client named Sheila Sperling. She's a realtor in Saratoga Springs, New York. Do you
uh,
know that?
well,
Or is that
well,
Sheila? I don't know.
I don't know. Saratoga, please tell us. Identify yourself.
Are they allowed to have cameras on, or is that not possible with this Riverside?
It's not possible because as we are live, we can only see the chat. Unfortunately, yeah.
Got it. So, how many of you are real estate professionals, and how long have you been in the business if you are a real estate agent? Or what other industries are here? And have you always been in Phoenix, Danielle? Man, I do it. I do a women's retreat at the Andes every year in Scottsdale, so I have to make sure you get the invitation next year. It's small. It's amazing, but you're gonna get a lot of the goodness because Ooh, 25 years in Pittsburgh and 4 in Naples, Florida. That's an upgrade, Janine. I'm from outside Philadelphia originally.
Oh,
So, and now I'm in a ski town in Colorado called Winter Park. Oh, that's cool, Janine. Awesome.
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 Okay, so
Um,
let's.
so we just jump right
Uh,
in then, Piero, or you want to do an
yeah,
intro first?
yeah. I'm going to do an intro, and then we can just jump in, and you will have all your time and have the chat for you as well.
Okay.
Okay, so let's. So hello everyone, and welcome to today's Icons of Real Estate Masterclass. We're really thrilled to have you here, and you as well, Erin. Before we dive in, just I know that you already were chatting with us. Just drop a hello or where are you from in the chat and let us know right now which city state for the new ones country are you in. We love seeing how far our community reaches, so that's amazing. Yeah, I know we have people from New York, Pittsburgh, Valencia, Phoenix, Algeria. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm from Montevideo. I'm in Montevideo right now, so that's it's amazing.
Love it.
Okay, so today we have an exceptional guest, someone who has been transforming the real estate industry through mindset, clarity, and systems that create real freedom. She's a best-selling author, national speaker, coach, and the host of the Pursuing Freedom podcast as well. She has a podcast, so you can follow her on all her projects. She revealed her business from burnout to balance, and now helps agents, people to create a business that fuels their life, not drains it. So please give a warm welcome to the icon of today's masterclass, Erin Bradley. Erin, we're so excited to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and for that wonderful introduction, Piero.
So the floor is yours. What you have been preparing, I'm really excited to see everything for this masterclass. So we
All
can
right.
just go on.
Well, it sounds like we have about 40, 45 minutes together. So I'll go ahead and share my screen to kind of keep us on track. And just a little bit of background around this particular talk that we're going to be having today is something that I've been sharing on stages a lot this fourth quarter. And it's a modification of a workshop I've been teaching for, gosh, almost 15 years now. And when I was coming up in the real estate industry, I struggled for many years to expect success and plan for it. Like I felt like I was always riding the roller coaster of either stressed because the business was dried up or stressed because it was busy and I was overwhelmed and always wondering like where does the freedom lie? Because I thought when I got into this business, I was looking for freedom and flexibility. And so I'm just curious if you can drop in the chat like when you became self-employed and went 100% commission, what were you after? Like, were you also after freedom and flexibility, or was it something else? And since we've got some agents here on this call that have been in the business 25 years, 21 years, my question is, how's that working out for you? Like, how free do you feel in your business? And so, one of the things I like to start with before we jump into the slides is a question around how would you describe freedom if you were going to describe a feeling? Like, what does freedom feel like? What do we imagine? How many of us have said to ourselves, when business picks up, I'll feel fill in the blanks? And then when business is really busy, we're like, when things slow down, I'll feel fill in the blanks. So if you could use a word to describe what freedom feels like, how would you describe it? Like, what would be the word that you would use that we think we're after when we've achieved all of our goals and all our needs are met and then some and we're in overflow? What does it feel like? So just drop a word in the chat. And some of you might be on the go, so it might peace and happiness. Okay, love that. So I'm going to write these words down because we're going to come back to these later. Satisfied, relaxed or relaxing, and happy. Okay, awesome. Okay, now on a scale of 1 to 10, choice. I love that, Christina. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your business the majority of the time as it relates to a 10 representing like peaceful, satisfied, relaxed, happy, and plenty of time freedom? That's a 10. And then 1 being uncertainty, overwhelm, stress, exhaustion. I'm just curious, like, where would you rate your business on a scale of 1 to 10 as it relates to how free you feel in your business now or in general? So we got some 7s, we got some 3s. Okay, awesome. So a good blend here. Okay, awesome. Now, I know some of you have dropped in the chat how long you've been in the business. If you haven't dropped that in the chat, let me know in the chat how many years you've been in the business. I saw Danielle's 21 years and Christina's 24 years. Cindy's 25 years. Okay, awesome. So we've got a good amount of experience here. And let's see. Yeah, Danielle's 21 years. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So what's interesting about that as it relates to this conversation we're going to have here today is the fact that when you've been in the business that long, there's no shortage of playbook. Like, you've been to the trainings, you know what to do. I'm a retired jockey. Oh, cool. I love that. That's awesome. Have you ever heard of the Saratoga Arms Hotel? Saratoga, that's the one that Sheila Sperling's parents own. It's like an old hotel in Saratoga Springs. Anyway, my coaching client is Sheila, and she plays polo. So small world, small town and small world over there in Saratoga Springs. So anyhow, coming back to this, like, regardless of the industry you're in, right, is that there's a lot of like, I know what I need to do. I hear this all the time. I have clients that have been selling real estate 20, 30 years, and they come to me and they're like, I know what I need to do. I just need to. I just have to. And then fill in the blanks. And whatever we're filling in the blanks is an action plan. And usually we're looking for the strategy that's going to be the band-aid to how we feel, which is the feelings of uncertainty or stress or overwhelm or burnout or any of those things, right? And so, oh my gosh, I love that's so cool. Small world. Okay, so she's amazing. She was at my retreat in Scottsdale last week, actually. Okay, so we have been conditioned, we have grown up in the business and in whatever industry you're in, right? Over our lifetime, we've been conditioned to believe that we measure our worth in productivity. And so whenever we are facing uncertainty in our business or in our lives, oftentimes we seek the band-aid for the emotion in action. And the problem that I've seen in recent years specifically, especially in the real estate space, is that as the market created some external challenges, it really became more important than ever that we learn how to manage ourselves and that we don't look outside of ourselves for the solution or the antidote to misalignment. And that when we do this, we can actually find a way to come home to a life and a business that feels aligned with who we are today and where we're going, instead of just doing what we've always done because we've been programmed and trained by the sales trainers to do the things, to get the leads, to get the deals, to get the money, to pay our bills, and to feel free, right? Which is ultimately what we're after. And so I'm starting with this because we're going to do some processes today that are going to help you shift from whatever state of mind or emotion or energy you're in, and on a daily basis and even hour to hour. Like, we could get up in the morning and have a really peaceful morning and everything is wonderful, and then something happens, the dog has diarrhea or something, and like all of a sudden our energy, our attention, our emotion gets hijacked. Or maybe you look at your phone before your feet have hit the ground, and all of a sudden, once again, your energy, your attention, your emotion can be hijacked by the external world. And so from that state of outside of ourselves, seeking something outside of ourselves, we often find ourselves on that hamster wheel of like not enough hours in the day, kind of always rushing, always racing. And so the goal here, and what I'm passionate about, is how to reverse engineer your approach to creating what is fulfillment for you in your life and business, which is different for everybody. We hear the word success and we often instantly think money. But I'm sure many of you on this call, being that you've been in the business for over 2 decades, many of you have probably experienced having your best month ever or your best year ever, and you don't actually feel the emotions of freedom, of peace, satisfaction, relaxation, and happiness, right? We feel exhausted, burned out, tethered to our phone. And so, what I'm passionate about is how do we access those feelings of freedom now? And from that place, we also have more clarity, more focus, more energy, and more enthusiasm. And from there, whatever we do today, whatever we execute in our business or in our lives, is coming from a place of inspired action instead of force. And it just lands differently. Okay. So, what I mean by that is how many of you have ever gone on vacation and your phone rings, like your business picks up? It's kind of a joke in the real estate space that if you want your business to pick up, just book a vacation, right? Has anybody ever experienced that? And it's so annoying, right? And what I like to tell people is that that's because in that moment that you tried to go on vacation, tried not to think about work, you got excited, you were anticipating, you're planning, you're having a good time, and all of a sudden, seemingly out of the blue, business finds you. And what that is that it's like a light within us. We all have a light within us. And when the light is ignited, when the flame is on, it's when we're feeling engaged, when we're feeling present, when we're having a good time, when we're with our loved ones and we're not even thinking about work. We're trying to celebrate the holidays or celebrate the successes of our loved ones or mourn the losses together. But it's that version of us that is unfiltered, that light within us that truly is the magnet. And that is the brand too. It is why people work with you. It's how you make them feel. And it's what they remember about you is your energy. And so when we try to take a vacation, we turn on vacation energy and it's like a lighthouse in the storm. The ships come to port, seemingly out of the blue. And so what we want to do here today is practice curating vacation energy on a daily basis. So we first can evaluate where are we on the energetic and emotional spectrum before we give ourselves away to the external world. And then what kind of tools can we utilize to ensure that we are basically tuning the instrument that is the energy within us, the light within us, so that it's on full blast. So that when we do show up in activity, in whatever way makes sense for us. Oop, did I lose you guys? Drop a yes in the chat if I lost you. No?
Hey, no, no,
Okay.
everything's okay. We can hear you.
I don't see myself anymore. I only see you. So my camera like popped off and I wasn't sure if you lost me. But that's okay. So you haven't lost me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, we
great.
can see you. We can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so where we're going, but it says I'm not showing
Uh,
now. There we
wait.
are. Now I'm back. Wait, what happened?
Now?
I'm gone now.
Wait. And now?
No, I only see you.
Let me see.
And while you, let's see. You see me when I
Okay, let
talk.
me.
Interesting. Okay. They see me when I talk.
Ah, okay.
I don't know what
Okay, so
happened though.
I'm
My
going.
camera
I'm going
just
to.
shut off. So, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and then hopefully you'll be able to see me. Piera, don't talk, Danielle. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to work on how do we reverse engineer the way we show up in our activity, the activity that we've been trained to execute on in order to get the outcome that we claim we are after, right? Which is whatever those goals are for you for 2026. Now, there's a lot of momentum going into 2026, and without getting too woo on all of you guys, there, if you've been maybe seeing it on your Instagram feed, there is something going on right now in numerology where the year 2025, 2 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. So it's a number 9 year, and it's the year of the snake, which represents shedding and releasing and endings and all these things. Okay. And 2026, 2 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10, and 1 plus 0 equals 1 is a number 1 year. And it's also the year of the horse. And that represents momentum, possibility, and power. And the number 1 year is all about new beginnings. So if you in your life have been feeling this like crumbling in 2025, or this, if there's been some like crunchy energy and this feeling of like, I'm done, I'm going to leave this year behind and I'm not going to take everything with me as I go into the new year. That energy is has to do with what's going on in like the cosmos right now. So if you're feeling that, then like jump on the woo train with me because I have been feeling that for sure. And I've been feeling a lot of like electricity in the energy of those that I work with in my coaching company. And there's this like, yeah, a velocity behind it. People are getting so much good momentum, and there's all this energy. So we're all kind of joking like we're just going to get on that horse and we're going to run in 2026. So if you're excited about 2026, but you're still kind of up in your head about how do I bridge the gap between this future version of me that I feel like I want to run towards and the way it's maybe been in recent years. And it's all about this shedding and this like the ending and the leaving behind of that which no longer serves you. And so that's what we're going to work on today. If you're not driving and you're able to have a pen and paper handy, I'm going to have you answer a couple reflection questions. And if you are on the go, just drop a Y in the chat if you're on the go, because we can still show you how impactful this process is and how you can get there, get to those feelings of freedom and peace and excitement and all the things, even if you're just driving, okay? But if you ever get a chance to do this in your notebook, I do it all the time. So I'm always checking in with where I am so that I don't show up to the things I've said yes to in my personal life or my business through the filter. And the filter is the thing that's created by the negative emotion of should and have to and need to and I wish I could, but and I could never and all the things, right? That's all fear. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out of our heads and into our hearts, and we're going to get fired up. And I think 2026 is going to be really good for everybody here. All right. So the talk that I've been giving this year, and this is an abbreviated version, and I love that some of you are from the East Coast because you'll probably be able to keep up with me with my fast East Coast energy, but it's mainly because I'm trying to cram what sometimes is a 2-hour workshop into a 40-minute talk. So we're going to still provide you some tools, and then if you ever want to go deeper, I will share ways in which we can do so. So this is all about creating a roadmap to your best year yet in 2026. Now, what I want to invite you to do right now is, if it's possible, to give yourself the permission to be fully present here. You will experience a shift in a very short amount of time, and you will also have the tools to come back and do it again and again and again, understanding that truly your energy is the magnet. And if your energy is diluted, if your enthusiasm is diluted, if you're exhausted or you're burned out, then chances are you're getting diluted results. So in order to do so, you've got to remember that presence is everything. So be fully present. It's hard because I can't see you guys, and it's very easy to tune in and be an inspiration junkie, but never take any action, and then nothing changes, right? But what we want is change. And so these two doors represent, and I should ask, Piero, can you chime in and tell me if you can see my screen and if you can see me? Because I can't see my camera.
Yes, I can see you and I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure everything's going okay. Um, okay, so door number 1, or door number 18 in this example, represents the life you've been living, okay? And it's laden with outdated thoughts that you've been thinking on repeat that have become your beliefs, and those beliefs become stories, and those stories become excuses. And yet, deep down inside, you feel called to more. You know there's more waiting for you in 2026 and beyond. So that's door number 2. The problem is that door number 2 is the foreign territory, the place you've never been, the pipe dream, the ridiculous, the unrealistic, maybe even the irresponsible wish deep down inside in your heart. And your brain, which its job is to keep you safe, and safe is the same as same, right? So your brain's job with fear is to keep you safe or keep you sane. Your brain doesn't like change, okay? But when you step through door number 2, it's like going through a portal to a future version of yourself that's no longer willing to tolerate that which has not been serving you for quite some time. And so we talk about how decisions change timelines. So I can't see the chat right now, but I'm just going to ask you to remember a time in your life where you broke up with somebody. You broke up with a romantic partner, or maybe you quit a job, okay? I'm assuming everybody here has at some point either quit a job or broken up with somebody. And before you had the courage to have that hard conversation, my suspicion is you were tolerating for quite some time, right? So we tolerate and we tell ourselves, it's fine. It's not that bad. It's fine. It's fine, right? But deep down inside, we feel that we've outgrown this. And when we make that decision and we have the courage to say, I'm done, this is my point of no return, enough is enough, you alter the trajectory of your life, right? Like you can go back to those moments in time that became pivotal moments in your life, pivotal decisions. And and I like to use the visual of like going up an escalator to new levels in your life. Because every time you had the audacity to be bold and end something, you opened new doors as a result. And it's like going up the escalator to the next level version of you that's done tolerating those outdated thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. And rarely do we want to go back down the escalator. I mean, sometimes we want to go down the escalator and pull people up alongside of us, but if they're not ready to go because they haven't made the decisions for themselves, then sometimes we do go to new levels and it's going to be an entirely different landscape, new relationships, new opportunities, new people, but we can't see what's on level 2. We can't see what's through door number 1 if we keep second guessing and staying in door number 2, door number 1. You get the idea, right? And so easier said than done, right? If we've been playing it safe for a long time, playing small, and we feel called to more, we have a lot of stories going on in our head, and that chatter is loud, and it can be louder than the voice in your heart. So your heart knows, I feel ready for more. I know I'm done tolerating, but your brain is like, yeah, but does more mean more sacrifice? Like we sometimes fear too much as we fear too little. So how do we shift ourselves to get to a place where we say yes in spite of the fear? Like when we make decisions to move forward with fear along for the ride. So the first thing I want you to do is just acknowledge if you've ever felt any of these things. Have you ever felt distracted, frustrated, overwhelmed, uncertain, exhausted, worried, discouraged, stressed, anxious, insecure? I know you have because you're not special. I always tell people, you're not special. You're just human. Like that's the human experience. We move along the energetic and emotional scale all the time, right? We could be having an amazing day and then something horrific can happen, or we can get in an argument, or we can have a difficult client, and all of a sudden we're ripped right back into a different state of mind or a state of emotion. And from there, things start to feel heavy and hard. And so a couple reflection questions that you can answer for yourself, and feel free to take a picture of this. But what are 3 new relationships that you've developed in the past year? And because of the sake of time, I'm going to read through these questions and I'm going to tell you the science behind them, but you're probably not going to be able to answer all of them. But I do recommend that you take some time for yourself, ideally first thing in the morning before you give yourself away to the external world, which we often do unconsciously, right? We check, check, check all the time as if the solutions are outside of ourselves, when in fact, we have access to the control switch of the dimmer light within us. And if that light is dim and you try to jump into action and outsource your power right away, you will always be facing an uphill battle. It will always feel hard. And then if you're willing to do the work to shift from the negative end of the spectrum to the positive end of the spectrum, which you can do by answering these questions, you will suddenly receive impulses, downloads, fresh ideas, and you will find yourself meeting the people at the perfect time, like you're in the right place at the right time. So when I do these questions, I always ask people, could everybody think of at least 3 new relationships you developed in the past year? And the answer is usually yes, and probably plenty more, and it's usually positive relationships. And the science behind that question is to remind you that when you think to go through door number 2, which is kind of like dropping the pin in the GPS to a place you've never been, you have no idea how to get there, you don't know how long it's going to take, you haven't even decided on the type of transportation, right? But you know you feel called to door number 2. So you drop that pin in the GPS without having any clue on how. Your brain wants to connect all the dots looking forward. Your brain wants to have it all figured out before it will give your heart permission to even give that wish a voice. But the truth of the matter is, you haven't even met half the people that are going to show up on your path between now and then. Like, even this conversation, none of us knew each other. Some of us didn't know each other 30 minutes ago. I didn't know Pietro a year ago, right? So relationships are always developing. Opportunities are always finding you. The stars align, the paths cross. It seems like it's random and it's out of the blue. But when you give yourself permission to daydream a little bit with reckless abandon, you don't need to know. Your brain doesn't need to have it all figured out. So just remember that, okay? And then relationships that you've deepened in the past year is the same kind of thing. Like there's relationships that exist in your life right now that may emerge in new ways in 2026 and beyond to support you, to refer you, to become clients. You just really don't know. And then, is there anyone you need to thank? And with this question, I really encourage you to think about the person, like feel into those people that you want to thank and those new relationships and those relationships that deepened. Okay. And before the end of the year, do me a favor and let them know. Just let them know you tuned into this call the other day, and this crazy lady from Colorado said to make a list of all the people that you're grateful for, and just say you were one of the first people that came to mind. I just want you to know how much I appreciate your support. I appreciate your friendship, your business, your all the things, right? Just let people know. One of my mentors said that the most interesting person in the room is not the most successful or the best dressed or the nicest car. The most interesting person in the room is the most loving. And truly, it's what I keep saying. Your energy is your brand. Your energy is your magnet. Sometimes we get so bogged down with what we think we should be doing or could be doing that we forget to just communicate to those we care about that we care about them and then find a way to be a resource to them. What are the 3 greatest happenings of the last year? That question is there to help you remember what really matters to you. Because often when we reflect on the greatest happenings, we can also be challenged to consider if our actions are reflecting our true priorities. And we can tap into a vision of our future self that feels absolutely amazing. In fact, it's better than we could imagine. And then we can prioritize the things that matter most to us and design a business that fuels our life instead of draining it. And then number 5 and number 6. I can't tell you how many times in my life, and for those I've worked with over the years, that the answer is the same, that the greatest risk I took became also my smartest decision. Okay. So that's there to remind you that you're always on the leading edge of the unfamiliar and you're called up, you're called up, and you're called up, that life is meant to be an exploration of curiosity and adventure and fun and love and connection and engagement and present moments. And these are really what we were after when we started. And so every time I'm on the verge of something that feels ridiculous, I have to be reminded that my greatest risk has often turned out to be my smartest decision. I've done this before. I've broken up with that person. I've quit that job. I've relocated. I've done things that seemed ridiculous. And on the other side of that one door closing, there's 10 more that open. Okay? Now, I would love for you to feel into this for just a moment. Like the greatest happenings, feel into it. Were your toes in the sand? Was there music? Was there sunshine? Who was there? Who do you want to thank? And how do you feel about remembering that you've had the courage before to say yes to your future self and it didn't feel easy, but you did it anyway? And it probably turned out okay. So I want you to drop in the chat, how does that make you feel when you tap into these memories?
Yes, we have one question from Janin.
Yeah.
She she said, "Is reflection time just work or our life in general, like family?"
Whatever comes up for you, Janine. Like for me, my greatest happenings are always the experiences I get to have with my family. So it reminds me to schedule those experiences first and then figure out how to afford it by designing a business with systems and support that can fuel and finance those experiences. So Christina said she feels joyful. How else would you describe a feeling that you feel when you remember all of this goodness in your life? Blessed. Okay, how else? What other words? Grateful, satisfied, blessed. I love it. Okay. Okay, so that took us about 5 minutes, okay? And I just have to say that it feels really good to really remember that I can access feelings of grateful, blessed, satisfied anytime I want. And if it's not the energy that I'm embodying, then I'm not going to jump into action. And I know that sounds crazy because we're in such a distracted world, but inspired action comes from the feelings that we imagine and the having of the external achievement. So many of us, we achieve the goal and then the goalpost moves. That we achieve the goal and the goalpost moves, right? So we're in this constant state of not enoughness, not there yet. When I get there, I can feel fill in the blanks. When in reality, we have access to those feelings now. And from this kind of energy, I always receive ideas. And when I act on those ideas, opportunities find me that I couldn't have possibly scripted. And so there is a difference between inspired action from this energy and forced action. It's a little the difference between chasing and attracting. Okay. And they're two different frequencies to the same destination. And we all have a pattern of behaving that feels like chasing because our fear is in charge and we need to hurry up and get up and hurry up and get going and we've got to get through it. There's not enough hours in the day and blah, 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 right? Like, and we're exhausted. And it never really feels what we thought we were after in the beginning. Okay. So we access the feeling first, then we receive the impulses, the guidance, the clarity. And from there, we start to move mountains. And it's unbelievable the type of exponential growth that is really available to us. Like the possibilities are actually infinite, and the brain gets bogged down in probability, but the heart lives in possibility. All right, so let's move on. So some of the words we shared in describing how freedom feels, and then how we feel right now was these are some of the words we said: peace, satisfied, um, relaxed, happy, blessed, joyful, grateful, right? And so here's some of the things that I've heard in these workshops over the years: proud of myself, pleased, confident, hopeful, satisfied, excited, ready, eager, decisive, sure. So the question is, before you go forward, what do you believe to be true? In other words, if you were to tap into a wish, like a pipe dream, and your brain starts jumping into doubt, right? Can you believe in something before you've seen it? Can you believe in it before you've experienced it? We've been using the visual of a butterfly because what I think is fascinating about the butterfly, especially this year with this like year of the snake and year of the horse, is that when the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis and it dies, it dissolves, it becomes this goop. It's like the food for the butterfly to emerge its full potential. And it goes from crawling along slowly to being able to soar thousands of miles. But what's really interesting is that the caterpillar and the butterfly have no cellular similarity. And that's like us. Our life can be a series of death and rebirth, but it's death of the old identity, death of the old excuses. And we've got to be willing to dissolve what we think we know to be true. So I'm going to share with you what I mean by that. So Where Pursuing Freedom was born, and it looks like we've about 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to try to wrap us up on time. But if anybody can stay longer, I have until the top of the hour. So I went 100% commission in the mortgage side of the real estate space back in 2007. And I did so because I wanted freedom and flexibility. I wanted to travel. The timing was great with the market crash, but regardless, I had no confidence. I had no financial safety net. And the top left image is 2008, my dad walking me down the aisle. And a week before my wedding, I had been maxed out on tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt, and I got a referral for a new client, and I didn't have enough money for gas. So I had to ride my bike 5 miles across town in the middle of the summer in the heat and figure out what to wear and look professional and not be sweaty. So I tried to get there early to let the sweat dry off. And unfortunately, the client got there early as well, and he introduced himself to me at the counter as my credit card was being declined for a $2 cup of coffee. And I just remember being mortified, and I couldn't try another card because I thought that was the one that would work. And so I lied and I just said, it's my debit card. That's so weird. And I'll have to call the bank. Anyway, the guy bought my coffee and I called my dad for advice. And he's like, do you think you're going to be good at this someday? And that's why I asked you, like, what do you believe? Because I remember laughing and being like, I don't have any evidence to indicate that I will be, but I think I could be good at this someday. And he's like, all right, well, then you do whatever it takes. And so I opened another credit card. I hired my first coach. And I was coached by a realtor coaching company. So I learned the business the same way as real estate agents, working my sphere. And a couple years into it, and I was doing fine. I was closing deals and paying my bills, but something was still missing, and it was the authenticity piece. Like I kept on hustling. I kept on logging the hours, checking the boxes, doing the things, making the calls to get the leads, to get the deals, to get the money, to solve my problem. So every time I went to take action, it was from a place of emptiness and scarcity and fear. And then I was told this is the action to take. And that's why I say it's two different frequencies, the same destination. So in 2011, I read the book The Go Giver, and it changed my life. If you haven't read it, highly recommend. And I ended up developing a strategy using the Go Giver philosophy, which is that the goal is to be of value to your people even when they don't need your services. And that really helped me overcome my insecurity because I squashed my insecurity with curiosity. How can I be of service even when you don't need my services? Well, that means having resources, right? So I developed a process and I started teaching real estate agents what I was doing. And my business more than doubled. Okay. I went from averaging like 30 transactions a year to doing nearly 80 in 2012. And that's the picture of me pregnant with my second child. And I wasn't expecting that level of volume. So it was a great problem at first, or so we say, right? I was making more money than I could dream of, but I was drowning and I was becoming a shell of myself as a person. And I almost quit the business because I went to a company dinner and I asked advice of the people that were ahead of me in the game, whose kids were a little older, and they all admitted that they put their kids to bed and work until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night to do the volume they were doing, which was more than what I was doing. So I didn't feel like I was cut out for this business because I didn't feel free when my credit card was being declined, and I didn't feel free being tethered to my phone 24/7. And that's where Pursuing Freedom was born. So luckily, I didn't quit the business and I hired more coaches and I got coached through scaling my business. And I scaled my business with some of my loved ones. I hired one of my best friends and the business more than doubled again. And then I hired my nanny after 2.5 years and then my neighbor. It was a whole thing. But the point of it is that I became so obsessed with teaching real estate agents what I was doing. So through systems and scale, I started to fire myself from things that didn't energize me. And it was very scary. And I learned that I wasn't alone, and neither are you. So, like, we feel so lonely sometimes in this journey as if we're the only one that's feeling these feelings. And especially for those of you who have been in the business more than 20 years, because I hear it all the time. It's like, I know what I need to do, but, and you can feel the lack of enthusiasm. And so, what we work on is we work on finding access to the control switch of the light within you. We figure out what feels joyful for you, what feels light, what feels fun. And then we build a business around that and we learn to systematically graduate from things that do not energize us. Even though they need to be done, they don't all need to be done by us. And since we're not all rocket scientists and we all learned how to put together a perfect customer service experience, we did it because we care. That's why I said your energy and your love are really the heart of the brand. And so we hire people that care and we teach them the processes. It's really easier than you could imagine. So I just want you to finish this sentence for yourself. I wish I could. Like, I wish I could. What is one of the wish I could? Like, I wish I could take a month off and travel Europe for a summer. I wish I could buy a boat. I wish I could get a second home in the mountains. I wish I could move to the beach. I wish I could what? Like, and then if I were to say, like, I wish I could take my summers off, what do you think is the first word? What do you think the first word that comes up next? I wish I could what? Wish I could take the summer off. What do you think is the word that comes up? I wish I could relax. And then what comes up, Alex? What's the next word that holds us back? I'm going to give you guys a spoiler alert. It's but. It's I wish I could, but. Right? And so, with that being said, if you are willing to play with this a little bit, you can write it all out. Like literally write out your pipe dream and then listen for the but and then write out what follows but, because whatever follows but is fear. Okay? So I'll give you an example. I wish I could move to a ski town, but my business is in Denver, so I can't, right? I can't because my team is in Denver, my office is in Denver, it's an hour and a half away. People are going to think I would go out of business, so I can't do that, right? Well, whatever comes after I can't because is not just fear, but it's you defending your fear. It's literally you letting fear drive the bus. Because whatever happens after because is your defense, your story. It's your excuse. Okay? So, the question then becomes says who? Like who's making the rules? Because I know one thing is for sure. The external world is not going to show up on your doorstep, take that cell phone out of your hand and say, "Slow down. What do you really want?" It's up to us to decide, and those decisions change timelines. So here are a couple examples of some decisions that change timelines. I told my coach in 2015 we wanted a condo in the mountains in our 10-year plan. He said, "Why not now?" I was like, I hadn't thought about that. We had a couple rental properties in Denver, so we figured it out. Then we were here every weekend, and our oldest was in kindergarten. And I remember saying to my husband, I wish we could live there full time, but our friends and family are in Denver, my business is in Denver, like we can't because, right? Well, we came for the summer and we decided to try it out in the summer of 2016. And that biggest risk became our smartest decision ever. And fast forward to 2020, the top left image or the left image with my kids in front of the RV, I was like, we need to go see our family on the East Coast, but we don't want to take a plane because it's 2020. So we said, like, oh, I wish we could just take an RV. And it's like, well, we could take an RV, but then my people will think that I'm not doing my business. Like I thought for sure. I mean, this comes back to what do you believe? I was sure that if we went on a 6-month RV road trip and homeschooled our kids, it was going to decline my business. And we did it anyway. We went on a 6-month RV road trip and we had a 50% increase in business that year. Now, you could say that's because it was raining business, but I also only worked about 15 to 20 hours a week in my business while it almost doubled in volume. Okay. So my fear was not accurate once again. And then at the end of 2022, I was standing on top of a stage at a real estate conference doing this activity, and I heard my brain say, I wish I could retire my license and coach and speak full time. But I can't abandon my team members. I can't abandon my loved ones. I can't because they'll be upset with me. My fear of letting others down was bigger than my fear of whether I was going to be okay financially. And I was certain, once again, I believed absolutely that the person who I was in partnership with was going to disown me as a person and a friend with this decision to walk away from the mortgage business. And the opposite happened. She said, I agree. I saw you on stage. I'm proud of you. I love you. I'm going to support you and I'm going to refer you. Okay. And I took that leap of faith at the end of 2022 and I went all in with Pursuing Freedom as a speaking and coaching organization in 2023 after years of doing all the things. Okay. So the only difference between us and the person living the life we want is a decision. Those decisions change timelines. They don't come easily, and they often end up being the smartest decisions. And whatever happens between somebody else on chapter 1 and chapter 10, we have no clue. So it may look easy for somebody else to make bold decisions, but you don't know how many times they've skinned their knees. We all have our battle wounds. We all have our scars, right? So instead of saying, I can't, try what if. Like, what if I took the summer off and traveled Europe? What if we took a 6-month RV road trip? What if we moved to a ski town? What if I quit the mortgage business? And from here, you can design a life. The truth of the matter is, I didn't ever have any of the things all figured out. And my fear was so loud that it was certainty almost. Like I was so sure, and I tolerated for far too long before I had the courage to have the conversation. And then it turns out fear is a liar. Okay? So you can dreamstorm instead of business plan, right? I wonder if I could double my business and not double my exhaustion. I wonder if I could hire a team member that would be a rock star that changes my life. Am I scared? Yes. But I wonder if it's possible. It changes everything. And then you take your wish, I wish I could, and simply replace it with I've decided to. Okay? You can usually feel something in your body energetically when you move from I wish I could, which is followed with but, to I've decided to, and it either feels expansive, meaning it's true for you, or it feels contracting, meaning there's something maybe out of alignment there. Because oftentimes we make decisions, even when it comes to our goals, from a place of fear, from a place of what others think we should do, or what we think we should do based on what we think is realistic. Think. Think is clouded by fear because that's what the brain does. So when you daydream about it, you can just write it out. It's December 31st, 2026, and I'm celebrating, and see what pours out of your heart, because it's really crazy what happens when you write it down. Like, really crazy. I have too many stories for the limited amount of time we have here about how fast things became reality when I let a ridiculous wish be written down on a piece of paper with a question mark. Okay. So I always tell people I am definitely not special, and I'm still making decisions with fear along for the ride and falling on my face and getting up and keep going. So there is no perfection and there is no finish line. This is the work. Okay. And I always tell my coaching clients and students that we work from the inside out, because the answers aren't outside of us. And neither is the joy, the fulfillment, the peace, the ease. We all have access to it all the time. And I didn't get here by accident. I've never been without a coach, without communities, without investing in myself and in my business. So it's been team members, it's been mentors, it's been masterminds, it's been conferences. This is one of my mentors. She's the co-author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. She was Robert Kiyosaki's business partner for 15 years, Sharon Lechter. Another one of my mentors on the other, riding the horse with me. That's us sitting at the table where Rich Dad Poor Dad and all the Rich Dad series were written, with her husband Mike. So if you've ever read any of those books, I invested in her to be my mentor, because I'm always trying to be with people that remind me of my future. And she's done a lot of the things that I've done or have wanted to do. And so I always encourage you to find the room where the people are that remind you of your future. Get in the room and stay in the room, because the magic happens when we borrow the belief we see in others before our own beliefs have changed, right? So I asked you, what do you believe? Well, your beliefs are clouded by your fears, because it's really just thoughts on repeat. And when you hang around others that are taking those chances, your own confidence starts to expand by osmosis, and you can borrow the belief they see in you, which is where other people have confidence in you before you can see it in yourself. So if I can support you in any capacity, number one, I love connecting. So like, shoot me a DM on Instagram if you had any takeaways or aha moments. I love hopping on a call and walking and talking the old fashioned way. I also have this national community called The Collective. It's a national network of realtors and lenders. And we meet weekly for live group coaching, and it's a network of coaches as well. So it's not just the Erin Bradley show. I have an entire collective of coaches that are real estate agents, professionals, people like the icons of real estate have come on that are service providers that can provide resources to real estate professionals. And until the end of the year, it's deeply discounted. So it's normally $490 a month or $4,900 a year. So it's less than the fraction of one closing commission in most markets and companies. And right now, through the end of the year, it's discounted. You can save $1,000 off the annual membership, or you can save $100 a month off the month to month. These are seasoned realtors and lenders that just kind of have hit that plateau where they're feeling a little, I don't want to say burned out so much as maybe bored, and we're really revamping the way they run their businesses. And honestly, the goal is to have more money, because, I mean, have more money, of course, yes, but the goal is to have more fun, because the more fun you have, the more money you make, because your energy is the magnet. So we focus a lot on customizing your business strategy to give you more time freedom through systems and support, and more enthusiasm through authenticity and love and contribution and engagement. And then if you're not at that kind of like 6-figure mark where you're ready for systems and scale, there's also access in a more DIY way to something called the Academy. So the Academy, I coach live twice a month, and you get access to a library of the recorded trainings with our guest coaches, service providers, as well as an entire course that takes you through goal setting, identifying your ideal customer avatar, time management strategies, systems, support, and also financial strategies. So both are awesome. I think the Academy, the goal is to get in and graduate to the Collective as soon as possible when you get momentum. And momentum comes quickly because you also get access to a couple other courses that I have that help you increase your referrals really fast, like double, triple your referrals in as little as 90 days. And so you can see the ROI immediately. And it's also just really fun. We have just an awesome community, a referral network. We have a referral map. It's pretty incredible. If you're at the point that you're scaling your business and you need help with building culture and systems, I coach teams as well. So it's a 90-day VIP one-on-one immersion, and you actually gain access to all the other programs that we have available. So I'm also open for that. If you want to reach out to me, text me or email me or Instagram are great ways to get a hold of me. Um, yeah, and this is what I'm about. I'm just all about present moments. I define success as unlimited present moments with the people I care about most, personally and professionally, and not someday because we don't know how much time we've got. So it's all about why not now. So last thing I'll share with you is one of my favorite quotes. 20 years from now, I'd be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than the things you did. So throw off the bowline, sail away from safe harbor, catch the trade wind in your sails. And if you just want a free happiness and fulfillment assessment, you can check this out. So this will get you on my email list. Check out the Pursuing Freedom podcast. Really amazing guests. I'm so lucky to have such amazing guests, and it's a blast. So there's lots of ways to get content from me and my community. And if you want to plug in and go deeper, just reach out to me and we can figure out what's the best option for you. So thank you for having me, Icons of Real Estate. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you. So we have 1 minute or two. So if people have some questions to do, they can do them. So yeah, we can read all the questions in the chat. I don't know if anyone has a question.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions or we can talk about how this applies to your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see what's possible when people curate that energy first and then start to lighten up and start to have more fun and really stop shoulding all over yourself. I like to say no should, no have to, just want to, and it's really wild. And watching people's business grow as a result is really cool.
Yeah, it's like take a leap of faith, as you mentioned, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it is. But sometimes um, fear is huge, so you don't know what
yeah.
to do.
It's always huge and it never goes away. So we have to just accept that it's here to try to protect us and then really challenge whether it's accurate in its story. So it's just like there's nothing wrong with having fear. It's just about getting intimate with it and getting curious about it and then saying, is that really true? And
Mm.
most of the time it's not. So might as well just say yes to life.
It's kind of I have a phrase that I love so much is do it if you are afraid, just do it anyways. It's like
Yeah, do it scared.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we don't have any questions,
All
but
right.
thank you so much, Erin. It was a wonderful masterclass. We learned a lot, and I think we all have some duties to do regarding the question that you already shared. I also want to share with you again, guys, that we have an offer from Erin's Academy and also the Pursuing Freedom Collective. So just go there, follow Erin on all her socials. Yeah, let's do a bigger network. So that's what it always work on real estate or on everything. So thank you all for being here. For we are going to post this as well for the people that couldn't be on the live. We're going to post this on our YouTube channel. Yeah, so that's gonna
Thank
be it.
you.
Thank you everyone. Um, Remember, clarity creates momentum. That's something that I love. Yeah, so we'll see you in the next masterclass and have an amazing rest of your day. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Gracias. Bye.
Bye. Gracias.